Greetings, one and all. Chris Courtney here. You are alpha tracking with me, and boy, what a brutal day in the markets. So, we're just taking a quick look at the SPY. Big candle down, really basically erasing everything in the last 5 or 6 days. But we are still within that big wick from February 12th. Have not escaped it. High or low, technically. But nothing about this feels good. If you were in any of the cybersecurity stocks today, well, you got crushed. And I made a post about this. You might have seen it over on StockTwits. Basically, this was the trend line we were looking at. Let's zoom out here a little bit. This was the trend line we were looking at. It takes us all the way back to 2023. And totally violated that today. That felt bad. And now, we have this downward channel as well. And what was interesting there is we actually violated that too. So if you go back to November, like we're here, and then we touched it again on early February, and now we blew past it to the downside. So now I'm really kind of looking at the 300 to 320 level, depending on which trend line you want to follow. We may get a reversal tomorrow. That's one thing I noticed today is this bounced down to the 345 level and it came back up. Some other stocks were hanging in there a little better today. Palo Alto Networks really kind of bucked the trend a little bit. You can see if we just zoom out a bit, it's holding. Going back to Liberation Day, and I'm not really sure what happened here in August. Oh, that must have been the carry trade. So carry trade, Liberation Day, AI freakout, take your pick. It's holding it, but the question I have, and I don't know if anybody else is having the same eerie feeling, we're down here in February of this year. And I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so we can better see that a little bit better. So this is February 2026. This was February 2025. If we get any weirdness, any Liberation Day type thing, this thing could just plunge off of a cliff. We're so much lower than we were at this same point. And the bad news, I don't feel like is fully baked in yet. So just a word of caution before we I'm going to turn around and try to be a bit more constructive, but just a word of caution, I don't necessarily love the setup. But again, I go back to the SPY and, the SPY is hanging in there. Haven't broken down yet, but I could totally see if we got some bad news breaking down to that 200-day. I could totally see it. And of course, that doesn't take us anywhere near Liberation Day. So, anyway, if you want to look at something a bit more constructive, let's look at freight lines. This is definitely moving right into the realm of Halo, that high asset, low obsolescence trade that Josh Brown has talked about. And he put another one on the fire on Friday, and ODFL, Old Dominion Freight Line. This is a trucking company. It's a LTL, which means if you're a company, you only pay for the part of the truckload that you use. It runs a bit more like a traditional train freight program. And Old Dominion Freight Line. This was recommended on Friday, and what's interesting here, I'm just going to go into the 5-day so that we can kind of see it. On Friday, when this came through, we got a big spike up right here. Let's get a little bit further out. There we go. Now I can kind of see it a little better. Big spike up here on Friday, and then today sold right back off, but we held. It didn't go below where it was on Thursday. It went back down and held. Now, if you miss this recommendation, I really see this as an opportunity to potentially get in. Keep in mind, it was just a bit lower a week ago, like 10 bucks down. This is a $193 stock right now. But one thing I like about it is I like how it's holding its averages. So let's just take a look here real quick. Look at how this thing is just holding the uptrend. And what I really like, okay, yeah, the 50 is screaming above the 200 and 100, and the 100 is about to scream past the 200. But what I really like, I like this trend line that takes us back into November. And it came back and revisited that in late January. And now it's kind of bull flagging sideways. The question is it going to meet that trend line? Are we going to basically just kind of hold this area? And it's going to meet the trend line over here, or are we going to come back down and test? Being that the market is what it is, what I'm looking at doing, and this is just me, not necessarily for you, not financial advice, I'm going to look at that 188 level as a potential stop. Yeah, I could take it all the way down to 175. Totally could. That's if not for all the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market, I'd totally take it down to 175 and just say, hey, this is a good company. They've got great momentum. I'm just going to ride this out. But I'm going to use this trend line here going back to November and say, okay, if it comes down here and violates that, I'm out. But for right now, I've put on a small position. And I'm just going to kind of see how it goes. If this were to break above that 208 level, which means it would have to go up about $15, I might add some more. Because then it would show me like this thing's ready to go. Maybe the market turns a bit. But this is what I'm interested in. And I do have a limit order in on that. SAIA, let's just take a look at the sector really fast. Very similar chart to Old Dominion. This one, similarly has a nice uptrend going back to November. Let's see here. Yeah, basically turned at the same time. It clearly retested about the same time. Did not violate the trend, but did not violate the 50-day, and now is riding up above. And this is a facsimile of Old Dominion. What I would like to do, honestly, is I would like to do a little better dig into the financials on Old Dominion and on SAIA. I can see that their next earnings report is in 60 days, so we're not going to hear anything from them for a while. Let's also look at two others. XPO. XPO is another competitor of Old Dominion. And this one, wow, this one has just rocket ship. It's just so far ahead of itself. Given what I know about the sector, and they're all kind of moving in the same direction, this one just feels like it has a long way to fall. I would have to know a lot more about this company before getting interested in it, especially considering how much higher it is. I think that's the all-time high back here. Let's just zoom out. Let's put a 5-year on it. Yeah. That's the all-time high, and this thing is just miles above it. So a little hot for me on XPO, although if I were to just draw a really quick trend line here over, yeah, I would anticipate that's gonna get tapped back here pretty soon. Let me switch that to green. I would imagine like this is gonna come back down. I wouldn't be interested in getting in here, considering that would appear to be the upper side of the channel, and this is the lower side. So I would really want that to come back down and retest that previous high. KNX. All right, Knight Swift Transportation. This one's interesting, but only because I really want to see if it can, like, it's been trading. It's tried to break through this prior high in 2022, 2023. Here we are, we're back again. Now the question here is this the moment when it punches through, or does it trade back down to this channel that it's kind of been in for the better part of 4 years? So Knight Swift, I feel like it's probably in a channel. I will watch it, I'm looking for it to push through. And then JB Hunt is a little bit different, the Arkansas trucking conglomerate. It also was basically trying to break out, but it has pushed through. The question is, does it come back down and retest? It's actually not in a terrible spot. I'm just going to put this into the monthly so we can take a look. You know, it's above that prior resistance. It's above that prior resistance, but I would love to see if it comes back down to that 217 level and retests. But this one's pretty interesting as well, because it actually punched through. It went back down, but then it got back above it, and pretty quickly, like V-shaped. Probably was like one day. Would be interested in knowing more about that. But of these trucking companies, I would say that it's JB Hunt, SAIA, and then SAIA looks not that great there. There you go. All right, SAIA, it's not even, if this is 358, it's not even, it's basically 10% above its 50-day. And then finally, the one that brought us to the dance here, Old Dominion Freight Line. Old Dominion Freight Line, if we take a peek at that one really fast, 193 is where it's at. The 50-day is right down here at 175. Remember, I said I'm going to target in the 180s, the mid 180s here as my stop, just because it's got this nice trend line and the market is just nuts right now. But if you're looking for something constructive, check out the freights. It's definitely in the middle of that halo trade. And let me know if you are jumping into any of these. Is there another halo sector you're looking at? Or, frankly, are they all just too expensive right now? There's a lot of halo stocks that have shot up through the roof. Are you looking at some of those cybersecurity cast-offs or software cast-offs that are in a deep drawdown? I could totally understand why. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Chris Courtney. Happy trading. See you on Tuesday.